One area that I wanted to discuss was the overall project population and the scale of the project. There's information that is out there related to a population of 350, 400,000 in 50 years for the project. That is somewhat accurate, but I think it needs a little bit more in-depth information, and I hopefully can provide that in my discussion here. The project, when it was submitted to the city, is coming in two phases. What that means is there's a phase that will be built at 150,000 in population over a span of 20 years. And then there's a post-development period that will then cover and potentially get to a population of 350, 400,000. And I think what's critically important to understand is that when we consider the project and the council makes a decision on the project, what they're essentially approving is a project for 150,000 in population over a span of 20 years. Ultimately, you can get to a point where you exceed that 150,000 in population, but in doing so, that's going to require additional environmental review, similar to what we're actually doing right now. And as most know, in California, laws, regulations, and rules change through the course of time. So there's no certainty that ultimately we would get to a 350, 400,000 in population. Plus, even to get to that point, it's a future decision of a council body that would have to make that call. And that is a call that's going to happen 20 years later from today. Additionally, I think what's important is there's this misconception or a perspective, let's call it, where people feel that once the project, if it is approved, instantaneously, we're going to have 150 or 350,000 people out there. And I think what needs to be articulated and expressed is that a project of this scale, and many of the projects that I worked on in my past professional career, scale and phase themselves over time. So there is going to be an interim period, should the project be approved, where we're going to see the project roll out, but at a very slow scale, slow pace. Again, market, economic decisions nationally, worldwide, dictate kind of the scale and the rollout of how projects move through a process. But I think what's important is that through the course of time, there will be incrementally phased development, and that incrementally phased development in scale will be tied to all the environmental work that we're working on currently and reviewing for the project. And so through the course of time, the applicant would have to meet those various mitigation requirements in order to actually proceed with the incremental growth within that 20-year period.